Morning peeps, good morning people. How we all doing? Good? A bit like that sometimes, a bit up, a bit down. Look, I hope that you're all doing okay. If you're not, you know how to get in contact with me. I'm always happy to have a conversation and try and cheer you up. All right, guys, I'm still playing around with that phone, you know. There's almost too many settings on it. So it's a bit long. I might go back to the tried and trusted. This was literally just plug in, press record, and it was all good. This thing, fucking hell. So bear with me. I am trying, bear with me. I am not tech savvy at all. I'm like the lowest end of tech savvy. So yeah, stick with me. Some of you did say that it's kind of focusing in and out. I hope that I've sorted that. I hope, because that would annoy me as well. But look, again, bear with me. Apologies. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, you know what we're trying to do. I don't think we're going to do it 30,000 before March 25th, but we'll get there. Let's just try and get there sooner rather than later. All right, yesterday I was at the Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte press conference, or what was supposed to be Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte. Obviously, Dillian Whyte didn't turn up. I knew that whilst going there. The traffic to get there yesterday, I just made it. Like, I missed the press conference. So when I say I made it, I made my interview slot with Tyson Fury and Frank Warren. And I really wanted to do that interview. So big thank you to TalkSport, who were panicking, like massively, like, okay, where's Ade? Where's Ade? But they were able to kind of stall Tyson Fury for me. So I was able to sit down with Tyson Fury. There's a couple of things I want to talk about. First, I want to quickly give massive props to Tyson Fury. I got there super late, but I know he got there around 11 o'clock. The press conference started at 2, and he was there. I was there until 5:36. He had started doing press from, so what happens for a lot of these big fights, you first do the press with the people that are showing the fight, or in TalkSport's instance, will be obviously airing it through TalkSport. So you do a bit of press for BT Sports, TalkSport, and I guess maybe his own social media channels. And then you do the press conference, and then you literally do press for everyone. And it was packed yesterday, like packed. Every single person that I know from the boxing world, apart from Rob Tebbett, or I have to catch up with Rob Tebbett, but everyone else was there. So the reason I say I want to give him props is because he gave everyone, so the big broadcasters to the small YouTube channels, everyone got the same Tyson Fury energy. And that's not easy to do. Like, there was a time when I was watching him, this is about 4:35, so I'm guessing he's probably done about 50 interviews, 50. And I'm watching him thinking, he don't stop. Like, he's a machine. And if you are that, you know, that guy with you know, an upcoming YouTube channel, and I've been there before, where you've only got maybe, I don't know, a couple of hundred subscribers, you know, you want him to get that big Tyson Fury interview, but you also want him to give you some good energy. And I was watching him do that, and I was like, this is impressive. Like, that ain't easy. Like, I mean, and not only that, but I guess 90% of people are asking you the same questions. Like, well, where's Dillian Whyte? Do you want to fight AJ? What's going on in Ukraine? And he's having to repeat himself, which can get a bit mundane and boring, but it's just Tyson Fury at his best yesterday. And bear in mind, I was only a couple of feet away from him. So I'm just seeing it and I'm thinking, fucking hell, this guy is a machine. And when I spoke to Frank said something interesting. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty as to why Dillian Whyte wasn't there, but Frank did say something interesting. It's like, thank God it was Tyson Fury, because if that was any other fighter having to kind of deal with a press conference by themselves, it would have been shit. And it's true, like most boxers, I mean, let's be honest, they're quite mundane, aren't they? I mean, not everyone has the character of a Tyson Fury. Like a Conor McGregor could do a press conference himself, Tyson Fury can, but then not many others could. So it's almost lucky that it was Tyson Fury. But yeah, I thought he was fantastic yesterday. Like, I got to speak with him, and, you know, obviously there's a lot of bravado, but what he did say to me was, I thought quite pleasing. He's like, look, me and Dillian Whyte are going to fight, and, you know, we're going through stuff right now, but I'm happy for him to get his shot. I'm happy for him to get paid well. And look, Dillian Whyte, we believe, will get paid around $8 million. And I'm happy for it to be at Wembley Stadium. And he was saying those things. He was like, you know, obviously, look, he's got to sell the fight, and he's going to call Dillian Whyte Dosser and other words as well. But it was nice to see that side of him. Like, you know what, whatever we're going through, because they understand, these guys would have been in and around the gyms with each other where they know they're getting paid a few £1,000. So for them to kind of fast forward 10 years and for Tyson Fury to be making what he's making and Dillian Whyte to be making millions as well, it's good to see. And I think Tyson Fury mentioned that to me yesterday, which was nice. Obviously, look, Dillian Whyte was a no-show. I was disappointed, thoroughly disappointed, just because, look, they're trying to sell 100,000 tickets, you know. That ain't going to be easy. Like, that is no gimme. Like, even if it was a 60,000 seater stadium, I'd be like, I don't know if Fury Whyte can do that, you know. It's not easy to do that. Like, Fury is obviously, his brand is bigger and his name value is bigger, but he's still not AJ. I mean, AJ can do it, but not many other people around the world can do it. Canelo could do it, but that's kind of it. You're looking at maybe one or two boxers that can do a stadium. So in order to do that stadium, in order for it to really tick all the boxes when it comes to pay-per-view, it does need to be promoted well. And again, as much as Tyson Fury tried to do it yesterday, that would have been 100 times better with Dillian Whyte there. If Dillian Whyte's there, it's just an absolutely outstanding press conference. It would have been, because we know, I mean, those two, anything's possible. Like, people would have been walking to that press conference thinking anything can happen here. Like, make sure we've got enough fucking battery in the camera because this could go anyway. And it obviously didn't happen. It didn't happen. Now, look, I don't know the ins and outs as to why he wasn't there. I mean, Frank Warren's spoken about things like, you know, Dillian Whyte wanted a private jet. They were willing to do that. Dillian Whyte didn't want his face on the poster. Dillian Whyte wants a bit more money for this and for that. And look, there seems to be so much going on behind the scene. So much to the point where I'm like, is this fight 110% happening? Because I can't think of a time when someone just has refused, especially in a pay-per-view fight, a mega pay-per-view fight, to turn up for press. No fighter wants to turn up for press, by the way. No one wants to do it. All fighters want to do is be in camp. They want to be in and around their people, studying, you know, making sure they're in the best physical shape of their life. They don't want to take a day and a half, 2 days off to do press, but you've almost got to do it to sell the fights. You've got to do it. But, you know, it's Al Bernstein. I don't know if you know Al Bernstein, boxing commentator, boxing pundit, boxing analyst. He tweeted out, and like, obviously he doesn't have a dog in this fight, but he was saying things like, what is he missing? Like, and Al was referring to himself. What's Al missing? Dillian Whyte's getting a shot at the heavyweight title. He's going to get paid more than 99.9% of boxers will ever get paid, which is around $8 million if he wins an extra 4. Like, almost like, why is he sulking? Al was alluding to. There's part of me that agrees with that, and there's part of me that's like, well, okay, but if there is a bit more money to get it. But I'm more with the Al side, and this is difficult for me because I'm a big Dillian Whyte fan. You might watch this video, I might have to see him. He's probably going to tell me, explain yourself, Addy. But I'm with Al a bit here because I don't know, what are you in the sport for? You're in the sport for those moments, and yesterday would have been one of those moments, by the way. You walk out to the Wembley turf and they have the press conference, the stare down. That's a moment. You win it for titles. He's fighting for the best title that is there in boxing. It's the best title. And you're in it for money. He's getting paid more than he's ever got paid for. What's going on? What else is happening behind the scenes to make you not want to turn up to a press conference to promote it? I don't know. I mean, look, I've seen, there seems to be two thoughts here. I've seen some people online, especially when I put the photo up of me and Tyson, some people are like, good on Dillian for not coming. I'm like, why? I don't understand. And some people are like, no, he should be there. I'm kind of in the middle, but more leaning to he should have been there. It should have been there. I think that's a moment he might regret. I think so, he might regret, because again, for me, the fight's not just about on the night. It starts from the first presser. It starts from the first presser, and then you get everyone excited, and I don't know. Some people are like, oh, he's not going to get, he's not going to get any more money on the pay-per-view points or something, so why turn up to promote it? He's promoting his own fight. It's his fight he's promoting. It's his moment he's promoting. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. It does get to a point where I'm like, boxing's just become a crazy sort of wild, wild west thing. It really has. Like, again, it's getting paid good money and it's a world title fight. I don't know. There's way more than we know going on behind the scenes. Way more than we know. But look, I guess there won't be another presser until the week of the fight. Again, I do hope, and look, BT Sport will bloody hope that there is some sort of all access behind the scenes build up to this, because if there's not, I'm telling you now, if there's not, as big as Fury is, and he is big, and as big as Dillian Whyte is, this fight won't do what they think it will do. It needs press. I don't care who you are. It needs proper press. It does. Again, another thing when I spoke to Tyson, I mentioned this. I was like, how crazy is it that you're coming back to the UK and you're fighting in Wembley Stadium? And he's like, it's crazy. He said, I never thought I could fight at Wembley unless it was against Anthony Joshua. So he even knows himself, like, this needs pushing to warrant it being at Wembley Stadium. Tyson Fury being the Tyson Fury sideshow isn't going to be enough to this. Isn't. Again, they're talking people, 90,000. You know when you know a fight's super big, yeah? And I've always said this, it's when people that are not fully invested in boxing ask you what's going on with this fight. No one's asked me that yet. Again, we're 8 weeks away, so, you know, it has got that time to build and grow. But that's when I know a fight's big. Like, I'm telling you now, when AJ was fighting Usyk at Wembley, 2 months before, at Tottenham, 2 months before, people were starting to, what's going on? Who's this Usyk kid? People are interested, they're invested. Not many people yet are invested in this. And look, we think they are because we're just this boxing world and we're a small, like, community. Outside of the boxing world, not many. But look, we'll see what happens. Hopefully there is another press conference, because it really does. Yesterday would have been incredible because John Fury was ready, wasn't he? I don't know if you saw the piece with Carl Frampton. He was already amped up. And again, you bring in Dean Whyte and that little crew. Dillian, please, next time, turn up, please, man. All right, let's go through a couple of bits of news here. This one's interesting. Wasserman Boxing. Obviously, that's the promotional company, aligned to Kelly Sowlands or Nisa Sowlands, the Sowlands. And they've announced a deal with Channel 5. This is very interesting for so many reasons. Number one, I think this is a massive loss to Sky. Now, Boxer and Sky are trying to really add to the stable fighters they've got, because as much as Sky's February card or February month and run has been good, the main events have been good. The undercard's been really poor, and that's just because they don't have enough fighters. They haven't got enough fighters. And look, Wasserman don't have a big group of fighters themselves, but, you know, Wasserman is Chris Eubank Jr., is Josh Kelly, is fighters like Nathan Gorman. Sky are going to want those on Sky, not on Channel 5. So, again, it's a big blow. I remember Adam Smith talking about this the other day, saying we are still trying to, you know, grow our stable. Now they've lost fighters to Channel 5. So that's one thing. What does this mean to Mick Hennessy? Mick Hennessy has a deal with Channel 5. Obviously, you know, recently the likes of Isaac Chamberlain's been fighting on Channel 5, Sam Egginton's fighting. So is this now, like, are they merging? I don't think so. I think, again, from the outside looking in, it might mean that Mick Hennessy has lost that Channel 5 contract, which will be disappointing. I mean, if he hasn't, and we get Mick's sort of stable and we get the Wasserman stable, that's fantastic for free-to-air boxing. That's really good. I mean, we should all be very happy with it. But yeah, the only people that won't be, again, is Sky. Sky won't be happy. I can't see Chris Eubank Jr. fighting on Channel 5. I really can't. And not only that, but Chris Eubank Jr. needs the Sky machine as well. Like, obviously, the problem for Channel 5 is that it can't really promote fights. I mean, you do a bit on Channel 5 News, but that's it, isn't it? I mean, so he needs the Sky promotion, the Sky machine. And I think he would want to fight on Sky, just from a production standpoint. Like, I've watched those Channel 5 shows, and they're okay, but they're just okay. You want the full Sky production. So I'll be very shocked if Chris Eubank Jr. is fighting on Channel 5. Very shocked. Imagine we get Chris Eubank Jr. versus Billy Joe Saunders free-to-air Channel 5. Exactly. Think about it. Ain't going to happen. So, yeah, I'll be very shocked. This is interesting, and we'll end on this one. Canelo Bivol. Obviously, we all know what's going on with Russia and Ukraine, so we're not going to get into that. Dmitry Bivol is Russian, and the governing bodies have said that they won't sanction Russian fighters. So obviously, Dmitry Bivol is a world champion. So what is likely to happen now? And I think I think the WBA have got to be very careful here, because a lot of people are saying things like bin the belts, and you know, to an extent I agree with them. Now, if the WBA don't sanction this fight, doesn't matter. Who cares? Like, who cares? I don't care. I mean, Canelo's already won a title at 175, so I don't think he'll be too upset. So yeah, Canelo versus Bivol could be a non-title fight. And who loses out in that? WBA. I mean, you know, and the weirdest thing is about that is if they don't sanction it and Bivol loses, because Bivol, you know, is an underdog in this fight, does Bivol keep his belt for the next one? Very, very strange. But yeah, if they stick to this, and I'll be shocked if they do, by the way, but if they stick to this, then yeah, it's going to be a non-title fight between Canelo and Dimitri Bivol. And obviously that means the WBA don't get some of those nice Canelo sanctioning fees. I don't know what the percentage is, 5% or whatever, but it's 5% of a big chunk. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. All right, guys, anyway, look, again, apologies with the camera. We are going to get the settings perfect. I've got oh my God, today we have a very, very special guest sitting over there. We've got a world champion coming to the studio around 7:30. What's the time now? Time's 11:30, so we've got a world champion coming at 7:30. I'm off to the motherland on Friday for a well-needed break. I know a lot of you are like, well, you just came back from LA, the Super Bowl, but it'll still work. I'm going to do no work out there whatsoever. I'm just going to recharge the battery. So I wanted to make sure that I got this world champion in the studio before we go, because I know he's difficult to lock down, but he's agreed to come today at 7:30. So I'm looking forward to it. And I'll put that video up immediately. Peace and love.